The unexpected champion. The Galactic Military Academy hung like a gleaming obsidian wheel against the violet atmosphere of Nexus Prime, its architecture a testament to the collaborative engineering of 17 different sentient species. For over 3 centuries it had produced the finest military minds in the Confederation, none of them human, until Cadet Maya Chen. The Academy's massive central atrium buzzed with the sounds of 1,000 alien voices as Maya made her way to combat. Training. She'd grown accustomed to the stares during her 6 months here. The fascinated gazes of the gelatinous Volari with their 7 eye stalks, the dismissive clicks from the insectoid Triskelion warriors, and the barely concealed disgust from the reptilian Draxians who still considered humans to be glorified primates who'd stumbled upon spaceflight by accident. Human, Commander Vrex's voice carried across the training hall, the Draxian's scales shifting to a mocking amber hue. "You're late," Maya checked her wrist computer. "With respect, Commander, I'm 3 minutes early. By inferior Earth standards, perhaps." Laughter rippled through the gathered cadets. "But here we adhere to Galactic Standard Time," she bit back, a retort. This was a familiar game, one that Vrex and several other instructors played regularly. Change the rules, move the targets, then punish the human for failing. Maya took her place in the training circle, ignoring the whispers. At 25, she'd already survived 15 years in Earth's post-collapse wastelands before being recruited as humanity's first representative to the Galactic Confederation. The politics of an alien military academy were nothing compared to fighting for food scraps in the ruins of Seattle. "Today," Commander Vrex announced, his tail swishing with barely contained excitement, "we begin specialized trials for final qualification," his reptilian eyes fixed on Maya. "Following unanimous recommendation from the Academy Council, Cadet Chen will undergo the Apex Challenge." The training hall fell silent. Maya caught the shocked expressions of her classmates. Even Carex, a Triskelion, who'd made no secret of his disdain for humans, looked troubled, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "Commander." Carex stepped forward, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the training hall lights. "The Apex Challenge is traditionally reserved for 4th-year cadets. Cadet Chen has only completed 2 quarters. Vrex's scales darkened. "Are you questioning the Council's wisdom, Cadet Carex?" "No, Commander, but the decision is final. Cadet Chen will face 3 Apex Predators in succession tomorrow at dawn. The human may use standard-issue equipment only." As Vrex dismissed the class, Maya stood motionless, processing this development. The Apex Challenge was infamous, a trial by combat against the deadliest predators in the Confederation. Few cadets attempted it before their final year, and even then, the survival rate was under 60%. "They're trying to kill you," came a soft, melodic voice beside her. Ilara, a Lumidian whose translucent skin glowed with bioluminescent patterns, was perhaps the closest thing Maya had to a friend here. "This isn't standard procedure." Maya nodded, keeping her expression neutral. "I know. The first creature is always a void serpent," Ilara continued, her voice dropping to a whisper. "They're practically impossible to detect before they strike. And the others? A crystal mantis and a thought stealer. No cadet has ever defeated all 3 in succession." Ilara's skin pulsed with concerned purple patterns. "You should withdraw." Maya shook her head. "That's what they're counting on." Later that night, when the Academy had powered down to minimal functions, Maya slipped into the central database hub. Her presence here was technically unauthorized, but she'd discovered early, in her Academy tenure, that security protocols had been designed with alien physiologies in mind. No one had accounted for human fingertips and their unique prints. "Computer, display all available data on void serpents, crystal mantises, and thought stealers," she whispered, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Information flooded the screen, far more than she'd been granted access to in her xenobiology classes. Maya's eyes narrowed as she absorbed the details. Void serpents, ambush predators that manipulated local gravity to remain undetectable until the final moment. Crystal mantises, Silicon-based life forms capable of refocusing energy attacks. Thought stealers. Psychically invasive predators that paralyzed prey by projecting their worst fears. Maya downloaded the data to her personal device, then added one more search. Previous Apex Challenge recordings. She spent the night studying the footage, noting how each alien species approached the challenges according to their natural abilities. The Valari relied on their regenerative properties. The Triskelions used overwhelming force. The Draxians employed sophisticated weaponry and armor. None of these options would work for a human. By dawn, Maya had formulated her approach. She arrived at the challenge arena 30 minutes early, actual Galactic Standard Time, dressed in Chayimap, the standard combat suit issued to all cadets. No additional armor, no specialized weapons, just the basic survival kit, utility blade, and standard-issue energy pistol allotted to every participant. The arena was a massive biodome, currently configured to replicate the dark swamps of Verox Prime, home environment of the Void Serpent. Observation platforms circled above, already filling with instructors and senior cadets eager to witness the spectacle. Cadet Chen, Administrator Zin's voice echoed through the dome, the Valari's tendrils waving with barely disguised anticipation. You may withdraw now with a formal notation of recognition of your limitations. Maya looked directly at the main camera. I respectfully decline, Administrator. I'm ready to begin. A disappointed ripple passed through Zin's gelatinous form. Very well. The Void Serpent has already been released. Your objective is to neutralize the Predator and reach the exit portal. Commencing now. The lights dimmed to match Verox Prime's perpetual twilight. Maya stood perfectly still, closing her eyes as she activated her suit's external audio enhancers, a standard feature rarely used by non-human cadets with naturally superior hearing. The swamp was silent except for the steady drip of condensation from the twisted vegetation. Maya breathed deeply, focusing on her other senses as she'd learned during Earth's long dark nights when power grids failed and predators, both animal and human, prowled the ruins. There, a slight distortion in the air about 20 meters ahead. Not visible exactly, but a subtle warping effect where the background swamp vegetation didn't quite align properly. The Void Serpent's gravity manipulation. In the observation deck, Commander Vrex leaned forward. The human is just standing there, he commented, scales rippling with amusement. Paralyzed by fear, no doubt. Administrator Zin's eye stalks swiveled in agreement. Humans lack the neural capacity for proper threat assessment. This one will be over quickly. Without warning, Maya dropped to the ground and rolled sideways. In the same instant, a massive obsidian-scaled serpent materialized where she had been standing, its jaws snapping on empty air. The observation deck erupted in surprised exclamations. Impossible, Vrex hissed. How did she detect it? Maya was already moving, her motion fluid and purposeful. Instead of firing her energy pistol, which would have been the standard response, she reached into her survival kit and withdrew a small canister. The Void Serpent reoriented, its 15-meter length coiling as it prepared for another strike. Its gravity manipulation field intensified, creating visible distortions in the air around it. Maya waited until the creature lunged, then threw the canister directly into its open maw and dove behind a thick knot of swamp vegetation. The canister, a standard-issue illumination flare, detonated inside the serpent. Light erupted from within the creature's semi-transparent body, negating its gravitational camouflage and revealing its complete outline. The serpent thrashed in, confusion, suddenly visible and vulnerable. Maya emerged from cover, energy pistol aimed not at the creature's body but at the swamp beneath it. 3 precise shots superheated the boggy ground, transforming it instantly into an unstable gas pocket. The serpent, still disoriented from the internal light source, sank halfway into the sudden morass. With the creature partially immobilized, Maya circled to a position behind its head and fired her remaining energy charges in a tight pattern at the base of the serpent's skull, severing its neural column. The massive predator went limp. In the observation deck, silence reigned. Did the human just... Administrator Zin couldn't complete the sentence. Impossible, Vrex repeated, his scales now a pale shade of disbelief. Maya located the exit portal and walked calmly toward it, pausing only to look directly at the nearest observation camera. "One down," she said quietly. "Who's next?" As she stepped through the portal, the whispers began. No cadet had ever dispatched a void serpent so efficiently, especially not using only standard equipment and certainly not a human. The second environment materialized around Maya, the crystalline deserts of Arcturus IV, hunting ground of the crystal mantis. Unlike the swamp's twilight, this environment was blindingly bright, the landscape a maze of reflective crystal formations that fragmented and multiplied every beam of light. Maya removed her outer combat jacket and wrapped it around her head as a makeshift hood, leaving only a narrow opening for her eyes. The standard response to this environment was to deploy energy shields or wear specialized filtering visors, neither of which she had been provided. Commander Vrex, watching from above, sneered. "Now we'll see the humans' limitations. Even our cadets struggle with the sensory overload in this environment." But Maya was moving with purpose again, keeping her gaze downward and navigating by watching the shadows on the ground, rather than looking directly at the disorienting crystal structures. The crystal mantis was waiting, its 12-foot frame perfectly camouflaged against a massive formation of reflective quartz. To most species, it would have been invisible until the moment it attacked. But humans had evolved as persistence hunters on the savannas of Earth, tracking prey for days by recognizing patterns and inconsistencies. And Maya had spotted the one flaw in the mantis's camouflage. Its crystalline structure refracted light, slightly differently than the natural formations, creating a subtle prismatic effect at its edges. Instead of approaching directly, Maya knelt and removed the power cell from her now depleted energy pistol. Using her utility blade, she carefully extracted the cell's core element, a highly reactive isotope used as standard power across the Confederation. The observation deck buzzed with confusion. "What is the human doing now?" Administrator Zinn demanded. "Attempting to create a crude explosive, perhaps," suggested another instructor. "A primitive solution." Maya completed her work and stood, the modified power cell in hand. Then, to everyone's shock, she walked directly toward the concealed mantis, making no attempt at stealth. The creature, sensing an easy kill, emerged from its camouflage in a blur of crystalline limbs, its forelegs extended to impale the approaching human. Maya threw the modified power cell high into the air above the mantis. The creature's reflexes automatically tracked the movement, a predator's instinct to follow sudden motion. In that split second of distraction, Maya dove beneath the mantis's guard, sliding under its body with her utility blade extended. The observation deck gasped collectively as Maya's blade found the single vulnerable point in the mantis's crystalline anatomy, the resonance node that controlled its molecular cohesion. The modified power cell came down, striking one of the crystal formations and exploding in a shower of radiation. The mantis, its resonance node severed, couldn't maintain its structure under the sudden energy flux. Its crystalline body vibrated, then shattered into thousands of glittering fragments. Maya stood amidst the crystal rain, her makeshift hood protecting her from the worst of the shower. She looked up at the observation deck again. "Two down," she called. "One to go." The hunter becomes the hunted. "This cannot be happening." Administrator Zinn's gelatinous form rippled with distress. All 7 eye stalks focused on the monitors, where Maya Chen stood amid the crystalline remnants of what had been one of the most feared predators in the Confederation. Commander Vrex slammed his scaled fist against the observation console. "The human must be cheating. There's no logical way. I've been monitoring all vital signs and equipment," interrupted Professor Teln, the Academy's Lumidian technology specialist. Her translucent skin flickered with analytical blue patterns. "Cadet Chen is using nothing beyond standard issue equipment. No implants, no hidden technology, no external assistance." The observation deck had grown crowded. What had begun as a spectacle organized for the amusement of a few senior instructors had now drawn the attention of nearly every faculty member and upper-level cadet. News of a human, the only human in the academy, succeeding where even the Most capable alien cadets struggled had spread through the station like wildfire. The final trial will stop her, Vrex insisted, his scales darkening with determination. No species can withstand a thought stealer's mental assault, especially not humans, with their primitive emotional responses. Administrator Zinn appeared, less certain, his tentacles twisting anxiously. Perhaps we should terminate the trial. The council only intended to humble the human, not to— The trial continues as planned, Commander Vrex interrupted. The human entered voluntarily. Protocol must be followed. Below, Maya stepped through the second portal into the third and final environment, the mist-shrouded plains of Sanctum, ancestral home of the Thought Stealers. Unlike the previous environments, this one appeared deceptively peaceful. Rolling, purple grasslands under a pale blue sky, with occasional stands of twisted silver-barked trees. But the air itself seemed to shimmer with malevolence, reality bending slightly at the corners of perception. Maya stood motionless, taking in her surroundings. She knew from her research that thought stealers didn't physically attack their prey. Instead, they infiltrated the mind, projecting personalized nightmares so vivid and terrifying that victims would often damage themselves in panic or simply stop breathing as their autonomic nervous systems shut down. No conventional weapon could touch them. No shield could block their influence. In the observation deck, nervous whispers circulated. Even the most skilled cadets feared the thought stealers. The creatures left no physical marks, but survivors were never quite the same afterward. The human appears confused, one instructor noted with satisfaction. It doesn't even know where to look. The thought stealer is already present, Administrator Zinn confirmed, monitoring the bioscanners. It's beginning its approach. On the plains below, Maya removed her utility belt and sat cross-legged on the purple grass. She closed her eyes and placed her hands on her knees, palms upward in an ancient human posture. What is it doing now? Demanded Vrex, bewildered by this apparent surrender. Professor Teln leaned closer to her monitors. Fascinating. Her brain activity is changing. She's deliberately altering her neural patterns. Meditation, came a quiet voice from the back of the observation deck. The assembled aliens turned to see Alara, who had somehow gained access to the restricted area. It's an ancient human practice. They can control their mental states. Commander Vrex scoffed. A primitive ritual won't save her from a thought stealer. But on the plains below, something extraordinary was happening. The air around Maya began to warp more intensely as the invisible thought stealer closed in, its psychic tendrils reaching for her mind. In the observation deck, the monitors tracking Maya's neural activity suddenly flared with activity. Impossible, gasped Professor Teln. The human's brain is generating theta waves at an unprecedented amplitude. She's creating a deliberate neural feedback loop. On the plains, Maya remained perfectly still, eyes closed, expression serene. The air around her distorted further as the thought stealer made contact with her consciousness. Then, unexpectedly, the creature became visible. A shimmering, diaphanous form like living smoke, its body contorting in apparent distress as it tried to disengage from Maya's mind. What's happening? Demanded Administrator Zinn, all eye stalks riveted to the scene. The human isn't blocking the thought stealer, Professor Teln realized, her luminous skin pulsing with scientific excitement. She's feeding it. Indeed, Maya had turned the tables on the psychic predator. Instead of resisting its intrusion, she was projecting her own mental images back at the creature. A deliberate stream of humanity's darkest moments. The fall of civilizations, world wars, environmental collapse, the daily struggle for survival. In Earth's radioactive wastelands, the thought stealer, evolved to inject fear into the minds of prey, was being overwhelmed by the concentrated horror of human history, experiences that Maya had lived through, studied, and integrated into her understanding of what it meant to be human. She's killing it with her memories, whispered Alara, understanding dawning on her luminous face. The creature's form became increasingly unstable, its psychic structure unable to process the flood of trauma, resilience and defiance that constituted human experience. With a soundless shriek that nonetheless registered on the psychic monitors, the thought stealer's consciousness fragmented and dispersed, its essence scattering to the winds. Maya opened her eyes and slowly stood. She looked up at the observation deck, her expression neither triumphant nor relieved, simply resolute. "Trial complete," she stated quietly. The silence in the observation deck was absolute. "3 apex predators," Ilara said, breaking the stunned quiet. 3 completely different approaches. No specialized equipment. "Luck," hissed Commander Vrex, but his protest sounded hollow even to himself. Administrator Zin's form had paled to an almost transparent state. Not luck. Strategy. The human analyzed each predator and developed counteractions using only what was available. "That's what humans do," Ilara explained, moving to the front of the gathered aliens. "They adapt. They improvise. Their weakness is their strength. They evolved without natural weapons, without specialized abilities. So they learned to use their environment, to understand their enemies, to turn disadvantages into advantages." The Academy's AI announced the official completion of the Apex Challenge, and the biodome began reconfiguring to its neutral state. Maya made her way to the exit, her posture betraying fatigue but no injury. Administrator Zin activated the communication channel. "Cadet Chen, please report to the council chamber immediately." When Maya arrived, she found not just the Academy Council waiting, but also 3 holographic figures, representatives from the Galactic Confederation's High Command, who had apparently been watching the entire trial with great interest. "Cadet Maya Chen," began the Volari High Commander, tentacles arranged in a formal pattern of respect. "What we witnessed today defies all previous assessments of human capabilities." Maya stood at attention. "With respect, High Commander, your previous assessments were based on limited data." "Clearly," agreed the Lumidian representative, her light pattern shifting thoughtfully. "The question now becomes, what does this demonstration mean for humanity's place in the Confederation?" "It means," said the third representative, a Triskelion whose mandibles clicked with what might have been amusement, "that we have severely underestimated our newest members." Administrator Zin floated forward. "Cadet Chen, the Council owes you an apology. The Apex Challenge was intended to temper human ambitions within the Academy. Instead, it has illuminated a serious error in our understanding." Commander Vrex, scales now a subdued gray of formal contrition, stepped forward. "The trial was designed to showcase human limitations. Instead, it revealed our own." Maya's expression remained carefully neutral. "What happens now?" The High Commander's hologram expanded slightly. "Now, Cadet Chen, we reassess. Your performance demonstrates that humans bring unique perspectives and approaches that could prove invaluable to Confederation forces. You have earned not just a place in this academy, but a voice in how we move forward together. And perhaps," added the Lumidian representative, "you could begin by explaining how you defeated a thought stealer, using only your mind." For the first time since the trial began, Maya allowed herself a small smile. "That's simple. You sent a creature that feeds on fear against a species that has lived with fear for its entire existence. Humans don't break under terror. We evolved with it, adapted to it, learned to use it. It's not our weakness, it's our inheritance." The council chamber fell silent as the implications of her words sank in. "In fact," Maya continued, "I'd like to propose some modifications to the Academy training regimen. Humans don't excel because we're stronger or faster. We excel because we're innovative, collaborative, and stubborn. These are qualities that could benefit all cadets regardless of species." The representatives exchanged glances, then nodded in agreement. "Cadet Chen," the High Commander declared, "consider yourself promoted to training specialist. You will develop a new curriculum incorporating human tactical approaches for all Academy cadets." As Maya left the council chamber, she found Ilara waiting in the corridor, skin glowing with excited patterns. "You've changed everything," the Lumidian said. No one will look at humans the same way again. Maya shrugged. That was always the plan. What do you mean? I didn't come to the academy just to learn, Maya explained. I came to teach. Earth sent me because they knew the Confederation was underestimating us. Better to demonstrate our capabilities in a controlled setting than have them discovered in a crisis. Ilara's skin flickered with surprise. You mean this was a deliberate strategy? Earth wanted the Confederation to test you? Not me specifically, Maya said with a smile. But they knew it would happen eventually. Humans have played this game before, being underestimated, then proving our worth. It's practically our specialty. As they walked through the Academy's main atrium, they passed groups of alien cadets who now looked at Maya with new expressions: respect, curiosity, and perhaps a touch of apprehension. I still don't understand how you defeated those predators so easily, Ilara admitted. Maya's smile widened slightly. That's the thing about humans, Ilara. We spent thousands of years being the prey before we became the predators. We understand both perspectives better than any species in the Confederation. She paused, looking out through the massive observation window at the stars beyond, the vast galaxy that humanity had only just begun to explore. The apex predators didn't fail because they weren't deadly enough, Maya continued. They failed because they didn't recognize what they were hunting. They thought I was prey. Ilara's skin pulsed with dawning comprehension. But I wasn't, Maya finished quietly. Humans never really are. Word of the human cadets' achievements spread rapidly throughout the Confederation. Within weeks, the Galactic Military Academy's application system crashed under the weight of requests from Earth. Hundreds of human candidates suddenly eager to join an institution that had previously regarded their species as barely worthy of consideration. The era of underestimating humanity was over. A new chapter in interspecies cooperation had begun, catalyzed by one cadet who had faced 3 apex killers and brought them down before they could strike. In the Academy archives, the recording of Maya's trial became required viewing for all new instructors filed under a new classification: Humanity, Approach with Respect.